Today we are going to discuss about the very basic concept about the stimulations or sensations and their receptors. Right? It's very important to know, because if it is going to help us to understand in easy way about ascending tracts of the CNS and sensory areas and pathways. Okay, there are many things are there which are get connected with the type of receptions are there in the body. Okay, so before that, going in detail about the spinal cord, we should understand very basics about sensations, stimulations, and the receptors and all. Right? What is receptor? What is this receptor? Receptors are, in general, if I speak, they are some device which receives the stimulation and then convert the stimulation into another energy. So receptors are those which receives the stimulation in the form of one energy and they are converting the sensation to the another form of energy. Okay, so here the receptors in our body or in animals, they are very tiny machines, tiny biological machines which converts one type of energy as a stimulation to the another type of energy in the form of electric signals. That's called as an action potential. Okay, they receive stimulation from one energy source and they gives rise to in the form of action potentials, electric signals through the neurons towards the CNS. Okay, so those are called as receptors. Now we'll see the very basic about the sensations is about, according to the development wise, what are the type of sensations. According to the development, we have basic sensations, another one is an advanced sensations. In these basic sensations, we have pain or touch, tickle, itch, sexual sensations. All these are very basic sensations for the animal. Okay, on the other hand, we have advanced or modern sensations like vibrations. Okay, vibrations, to touch discrimination. If you touch in simultaneously on two points to discriminate that one. Okay, to discriminate, that is a sensation. To touch, discrimination, and smooth touch. Okay, here there is a crude touch will come. Okay, crude touch. Here the smooth touch will be there, pressure will be there, and the proprioceptions. Proprioceptions are the sensations which arises from the locomotor system. Okay, those sensations are advanced sensations. Rest all other will comes under old sensations. Okay. Second classification, what we can, according to the receptors. According to the receptors, we are going to classify the sensation according to that mechanoreceptors, thermoreceptors, chemoreceptors, electromagnetic receptors, which are there in our body. Right? Mechanoreceptors, which are dealing with or concerned with the mechanical stimulation, converting those mechanical stimulation into the electromagnetic signals in the body. Okay, those receptors are called as mechanoreceptors, and they have modalities. Okay, what is modality? Modality is something which has types. Okay, for example, modalities of sensations. Okay, modalities of mechanical sensations and their types. For example, modality of touch sensations. Okay, modalities of touch sensations. For example, it is one modality, fine touch and deep touch, pain, which is also called as a nociceptor. Remember, pain is called as a nociceptive sensations. Okay, remember this word, nociceptors. Vibrations are also a type of a modality of touch sensations. Like this, the mechanoreceptors, mechanical stimulations, which has its modalities. Even hearing is also a modality where the air is going to touch the tympanic membrane, and the vibration of tympanic membrane will lead to the stimulation. It will come under the special sensations, not as a mechanoreceptor. So one type of a mechanoreceptors again. Thermoreceptors. Thermoreceptors are those which convert the thermal, means temperature, into as stimulations. Right? Here there are two type of a temperature we can see, warm and cold. Right? The warm sensation will, the sensory receptors will receive the sensation between 32 degrees Celsius to 48 degrees Celsius. Right? 32 to 48 degrees Celsius, and the cold will get stimulated. Cold receptor will get stimulated 10 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, 32 to 48 degrees Celsius, warm receptor will get stimulated. 10 to 40 degrees Celsius, the cold receptors will get stimulated. Below 10 degrees Celsius and above 48 degrees Celsius, actually pain receptors will get stimulated. Okay, they will get, pain receptors will get stimulated, nociceptor will get stimulated. Chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors are concerned with the chemical changes receptors inside the body. For example, changes of oxygen level in the blood, changes of decrease and increase level of oxygen, increase and decrease level of carbon dioxide, pH changes. Okay, baroreceptors, which receives the pressure of the blood. Okay, olfaction, which converts the smell into energy, and the osmoreceptors of the fluidity, osmosity of the fluid. All these will come under the chemoreceptor. They convert them, chemical signals. Electromagnetic receptors are there in the body. Electromagnetic are there. Yes, of course. They have rods and cones. Rods and cones in the eye. They convert. The light is a source of electromagnetic wave. Okay, the light, which is an electromagnetic stimulations is there, those are converted into the electric signals in the retina of the eye. Those are rods and cones. Okay, rods and cones of. Okay, it related with the visual sensations. Okay, these are the main four classifications which will come across the receptor variety. Some neurologists also include proprioceptives, and some will include this proprioceptives and the mechanoreceptors. Okay, actually before understanding why it is included in the mechanoreceptors, we will understand what is proprioceptors. Proprioceptors are those sensations which actually generated from the the locomotor system. Okay, locomotor system includes muscle, tendon, joints, bones, and all. Those in those area, they are going to generate the sensations from inside the body, and that sensations are called as the proprioceptive sensations, which will have three varieties, three types of proprioceptive sensations are there. One is in the muscle spindles, another one in the tendon organ, another one in the kinesthetic receptors. Okay, they are actually the balancing area. The muscle tendon and the tendon organ, the location of these proprioceptive receptors, what they do the understanding of the joint position and the type of contraction and relaxations. All those things are carried by those muscle spindles and the tendon organs. What the kinesthetic receptors will do. For example, best example which I can give, if your pitch black room is there, complete dark is there, you cannot see anything in that. If you walk in that room, what you will see? Nothing you can see, but still you will move your joints. You will walk along with your balancing of the body, and you will try to touch something, and you try to wave with your hand and touch something, and it works in the space, isn't it? That actually is the kinesthetic type. Okay, this is about the according to type of receptors. Another variety of classification is there according to source of stimulation. From source of stimulation, one is exteroceptives and interoceptors. Exteroceptors are those sensations which come from the external side, okay, which come from external source, from the external environment, which will come and stimulate to the body. That is considered under the exteroceptors. Interoceptors are those stimulations which are generated inside the body, which is generated inside the body. It's not coming from outside. It is created inside the body. What are the exteroceptives? What are the exteroceptives? Touch, temperature, pain, pressure, vibrations, proprioceptive sensations. All these are considered the exteroceptives. What are the interoceptive sensations? Chemoreceptors, baroreceptors, and the osmolarity of the fluidity, acidity, all the chemical receptors, all the proprioceptive sensations, all those comes from interoceptives. Okay, those are called as interoceptive sensations, and the sensations come from the exteroceptive sensations from the outside the body. Right? These are. There is another classification. Some neurologists will also believe in that. Receptors. Receptors are those receptors which receives the signals from far away from the source. Okay, those are called as receptor, which includes vision, rods and cones, okay, hearing, okay, sound will go to give the stimulation, olfaction. All those are called as the receptors. Okay, these are and there are many other varieties are there, but this much is, I think, is sufficient to understand future about the tracts and these sensations. There are some other sensations are also there in the brainstem. Will come across like general visceral afferents, somatic visceral afferents and efferents, general and special. What are those things? And we are going to study them at the time of when we study about the cranial nerves in detail. Right? When the cranial nerve nucleus and the cranial nerve pathway, there we are going to study all those things. For understanding about the ascending tract, I think this much is enough. Okay? We'll meet in another class. Good day.